Good morning, Brooke.
Good morning.
Thank you for meeting with me again. Thank you. And I appreciate that. I just want to apologize. I'm a little under the weather today. And I would have loved to have waited to do a counseling session with you when I felt better. But I know Friday is going to be your last day
Yes.
as a senior.
You see the big smile on my face?
So that's why I felt like I need to go ahead and take care of that today while you had the time, because your time this week is going to be very crazy. So I thought, well, I'm just going to have to deal with my cold and my sickness, but I do appreciate it. And also, everything that we talk about will be confidential, just like I said before. It's just going between me and you. And I want to go over some things from last week, or no, actually it's been 3 weeks ago, when we did our last counseling session, how you were keeping a journal. You were talking about time management, how some things stressed you really bad, trying to hold down a job, trying to compete for valedictorian, and just prioritizing everything. And so I want to ask you, how is your journal going? How's it?
Pretty good. It's been able to help me to see, that I'm stressed, when I sit there and dwell on it. But if I actually go and start doing stuff to that's on my list of things to do, then it helps, Because if you just dwell on something, it's not going to solve anything.
No, and usually it makes it worse.
Yeah.
It usually does. And what are some things that you're doing to relieve that stress, especially if this week coming up, you said it's going to be a very stressful week?
Yeah.
What are some things you're doing?
Well, this past weekend I went on a beach trip with friends, just kind of de-stress. I'm just trying to find time, I'll stay up a little later, but it's worth watching an hour of TV just to calm down and relax,
Just have that time to chill out and get yourself together. And we talked about this last time too, Brooke. What am I trying to say is, how is your GPA going as far as valedictorian? Are you even closer to that, or how are things looking? Because I know that was a big goal of yours.
About a week or two after we talked, I had to get a scholarship form filled out, and they had to put your rank, and they said my rank was still 1, but I wasn't the only one. And so I guess it's still a tight competition, but...
Oh, wow, that's really close, isn't it?
Yeah.
So when you said that your rank was 1 and there was somebody else that's ranked 1?
I think 2 other people, actually.
Wow. So that means same GPA, I'm guessing, pretty much right on the same level, so it could go either way.
Yeah.
But it looks like you're very close, and that's the main thing. That's the main thing. You're very close to getting that goal. Also, some other things we talked about. Remember, I took notes, and if it's okay, I want to take some case notes again. And we talked about, of course, you getting a job, and you were working. How is that going as far as time management again, working with this job? Are things getting easier?
Yeah, because I've been able, to kind of get a routine down and stuff. And my job, it's I'm getting to know more people and stuff, and I feel a little more comfortable. So that takes down stress because I'm a very reserved person, and I don't really like to get to know people. If they come up to me, I'll get to know them, but I'm not one to go out and talk to them. And so it's been getting easier, feeling more comfortable and stuff.
So you say that makes a difference with your working environment?
Yeah.
And also, I'm just looking back at some of my notes, we were also talking about with your parents how they're helping you as far as, and I wrote this down so I know that we were talking about that before, about your parents being supportive and helping you. You've got a job, and it's one thing just trying to keep your GPA up, but you're competing for a spot for valedictorian. Are they still being supportive?
They are. They're just kind of if you get it, you get it. They know that I've tried my best. I made straight A's this year, and so there's nothing that I could change it. It's either, I can't get a A++, infinity type thing. I can only get an A.
and that's the way it goes, isn't it? So they're being very supportive. And what are some things are they doing to help support you with all this stress that you've been
a lot of the college type stuff. They'll help me. This is due today. You need to do this. You need to do that. Just trying to help me keep what I have to do for the day. Get that done.
Trying to get that done.
Make sure those important dates aren't lost.
So they're giving you some reminders and helping you to stay on track, which I'm assuming that helps you with time management and prioritizing. And I was looking through here too some other things that we talked about. Calculus. You were taking AP calculus. How are things going with that? You were a little concerned with that.
I'm still kind of stressed with it. I mean, because there's an AP exam coming up really, really soon.
Mm-hmm.
And so I really want to do well on it, you know, and it's a lot, you know. It's a hard test, and I'm stressed about it, but I've taken AP tests before, and so I know, you know, as long as you try your best, you know. Because it's kind of like they grade you on what you know, not what you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like they'll try to give you points to make it where you get college credit and stuff.
So they're not really working against you.
Yeah.
And what does it mean as far as having the AP calculus compared to the regular calculus grade? That means advanced placement, right?
Mhm.
What does that mean?
Well, it's different because, you know, I'm taking it in high school and it shows, you know, that I do care, you know. I mean, I can easily take it in college, you know, but I feel like taking it in high school, it kind of gives me an advantage, you know, for college and stuff.
So like on your transcript, and when they see that on your transcript?
Yeah.
What about as far as valedictorian, what does that mean to you as far as the AP grade?
I'm not really sure how it adds up. I just know, I mean, it can only help.
So it would be more like a weighted GPA?
Yeah.
So that would definitely. And I know we were talking about before about different ways of relieving the stress. And I know this last week is probably going to be more stressful for you than it has been most of the year. Because you're wrapping up the year, and Friday's your last day. You were saying you've been spending time with friends and doing things. What are some other things that you've done besides spending time with your friends? And I know you said you did the journal, slept. Okay.
Just kind of, you know, stayed at home, relaxed, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much it.
And keeping your mind off certain things.
Yeah.
And all that.
It's kind of funny because the past couple of weeks I've just like not really been thinking about being valedictorian lately. You know, it's just if it works, it works. You know.
Because I just feel like the positive side of that is even just being in the running is an honor.
Mm-hmm.
You know, is an honor.
I would be happy with 1, 2, or 3.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's an honor in itself. So that's a positive thing any way you look at it.
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed we also talked before about time management, of course, organization, about staying positive, relaxing. And we talked a little bit last time about prioritizing the things that you're doing. And I would like, before we end this session, I would like to go over some things, like make a list. And I want to make a list with you of things that you have to do, just say between now and the time you graduate. And then I'd like to rank them and like to prioritize them to see what's the most important and what's the least important. That way you can set up your time management based on that. Because there are some things that are more important that you need to do instead of worrying about the least important things.
Yeah.
And that would take a little stress off of you. And I can go ahead and make the list with you, Brooke, and this is something you can use for future use. What are some things that you have to do between now and graduation?
I have finals coming up Thursday and Friday.
Okay, finals. Okay.
I'm still working, but that's an ongoing thing.
That's going to be an ongoing thing, but work does play a part with it.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm gonna put your job. Okay.
There's a lot of things like at home to get ready for like graduation parties and graduation festivities and sending out announcements. I haven't sent out my announcements yet.
Yeah. Okay, so you have the graduation requirements as far as at home, like you said, sending out announcements. See, that's just added stress.
I'll probably work on this tonight.
Okay, so graduation announcements and
Just like keeping my room clean, doing laundry.
And you still
that
have-
is stressful because that takes time.
and you still have your chores you have to do. And what are some chores you said? You said
Like cleaning the bathroom and helping sleep. You know, just a hand. It's not really a set chore. It's just
cleaning your room. And what are some other things between now and graduation that you want to accomplish?
I guess just kind of planning and setting everything into place with like going to college and stuff. That's still kind of up in the air. It's not set in stone completely.
Okay, and have you been a hold of any of your colleges, or what college are you planning on
JD, you know, I just contacted them this morning to make sure they got my deposit because it kind of scares me that the check hasn't cleared yet.
So what was the outcome of that, you said?
They said that they've received it. I guess it just takes a little bit for it to hit the account. I sure hope that's the reason. So I have a scholarship there and I don't want to lose it.
And that was my next question, but what kind of scholarships do you have? We had talked a little bit about it last time, and so I just was wondering what exact scholarships do you have?
I have an academic scholarship there, and then I have Bright Futures, and I have 2 outside scholarships that are like $1,600, and I think that's it.
Well, that's pretty good. That's pretty good, Brooke. And what do you have to do as far as to prepare for those scholarships? I mean, I know you've already received them, so do you have to do anything else as far as getting the money, or what do you have to do to prepare for that?
I know for like JU's, the academic scholarship, you have to keep your GPA up to like a certain amount, and then for Bright Futures you do too. So that's a little stress already before I've even been to college. But
Or even take your first class.
Yeah.
So you have to keep a certain GPA.
I'm really nervous because I don't really know what to expect.
But it's the unknown, isn't it, Brooke? It's the unknown.
It's very bittersweet this time.
It is, and you bringing that up, and I'm glad you did. As far as bittersweet, how are your emotions going? Thinking about going out to the big world and leaving, your high school life.
I have no idea. Like I just kind of put it out of my mind right now. But I mean, when I sit down and think about it, it's upsetting. But then at other times, it's like I'm excited. I really don't know what to think. I guess I don't really think anybody knows what to think in this time.
And usually you don't. And usually it's afterwards that you say, "Oh my goodness, I'm out of high school." So are you excited though about starting your
I'm gonna
college
cry.
life?
I'm gonna cry.
And I bet your mom and daddy is too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. So you got a lot of emotions bottled up too. It's like you're not sure which way to go with those emotions.
Yeah, and I feel like I'm like somebody can say something to me and I could just like explode. Like I don't know. It's a lot.
It is a lot. It is a lot. But someone like you that is you're very focused. You're very well rounded, and you seem to have a handle on things. And that's going to make a big difference. When you get ready to graduate, that's going to make a very big difference. And what I wrote down, Brooke, I wrote down some things you said you had to do between now and graduation. Excuse me, Brooke, I'm sorry. And you talked about your finals, keeping up your job, your graduation. Of course, you got to get all your graduation announcements and planning, and of course, you still have your chores. I'm going to just list that as chores. Yeah. Planning and setting everything up. And you're going to have to make sure all the contacts with, and you already called JU, but the contacts as far as keeping up with it, did they receive your deposit? So all that's got to be taken care of. What would you say would be the most important out of these things that you have to do between now and graduation?
My finals.
Okay.
Because I mean, you have to take your final to graduate high school. So if that doesn't work, then I'm not going to graduate.
So that's the first thing you have to worry about, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. What do you think the next thing would be?
Announcements, definitely. And chores.
So just keeping up with your chores at home, okay?
Then college contacts, I guess. And then work. Work's at the bottom because that's just something you kind of show up and do. It's not something you have to kind of plan for.
And that was actually what I was going to ask you, Brooke. Why did you put work at the bottom? And I think you answered that. What other things, as far as college contact, you have to worry about besides your deposit, if that's clear?
It's just like getting like housing and all that stuff set in place, and your meal plan and making sure you have stuff to put in your dorm room. Another unknown is I think they randomly select your roommate, and that's a little scary for me because like you have certain boundaries and ethics that you live by, and it's kind of scary to wonder about what your roommate might be.
Will you get to meet your roommate before y'all move in, or how do they do that?
That's unknown too. I don't know.
Well then, being that was brought up, and I actually didn't think about that, Brooke, because I forgot that you were going to be in a dorm. You're not going to be living at home, right? You're going to be in the dorm. Let me put it this way, how would you handle a situation if the roommate was different than you as far as her beliefs or values? What would you do to be able to handle that?
I would probably just talk to her about it, and try to get to know her better, see where she comes from, and try to make it where it's like a mutual respect and not like a you're different than me, I don't like you, like a negative attitude. I just keep a positive attitude, you know. But then if it doesn't work out, you know, just contact somebody to see what you can do to handle it in a tasteful manner. Because I mean, there's a right and wrong way to handle it.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. And I think that's a good way to be able to at least try to talk things out, and you can try it from there. So hopefully that's going to work out for you, Brooke, because I can see that, you know, being something that you're worried about also, because you're going to be rooming with that person. And so what I did was, this is what you told me as far as your rank. Of course, first of all, your finals. Have you prepared for those? Are you ready for your finals?
Mm-hmm.
And what have you done to prepare? Just studying, or have
Just
you done
studying,
any extra?
you know, making sure
Mm-hmm.
that I feel prepared, you know. A lot of it is psychological, you know. If you feel prepared, then you'll probably do better than if you're like, oh, I don't know anything.
Okay. So you prepared yourself psychologically, you studied. And okay, and the next thing you have on the list, because the finals is first, is your announcements, getting things ready to send out for graduation, because you have to let people know you're graduating. When are you planning on trying to get all this together, and what all do you have to do as far as that goes?
I would like to have them sent out by like Friday, because I mean that's like 2 weeks notice about, and so just give people enough time because they're busy too.
And that way they'll know what's going on. Okay, now chores. How are you going to fit them in? You know, in with your your last 2 or 3 weeks for graduation.
Whenever they fit in. I mean, I don't. It's a lot.
That's why it's more toward the bottom, huh? As far as
Yeah.
priority. And then of course college contact. You talked to me about that, and work, and you said work is work.
Yeah, I mean, you show up and do what you're supposed to do. You can't really prepare for it, you know.
No, you and that, but that's a very good way to prioritize here. I mean, the finals, that's got to be done first, and then you got to get your announcements, and it goes from there. And maybe this is something that you can look at and think about over the next week or two, and stay on track with this. I mean, don't try to jump down and worry about something else. Just worry about your finals. You know, get them behind you. Then go to number 2, and then worry about that. And what days are you taking your finals?
Friday.
Friday. So all your finals, will be on Friday? Okay.
And then my announcements, I want those by Friday.
Okay. So you'll be working on this, and then your announcements, you want to get them off by Friday, so you can be working on that Thursday or Friday and get them off at least by the weekend. And then everything else kind of falls in line. And is there any other activities or anything else that you were required to do before this week's up, as far as finishing up your week?
Not that I know.
That's it, okay. But what I'd like for you to do, Brooke, is I would like you to keep this list, and these are things that you have to do before graduation. Prioritize, decide this is what I'm going to do first, second, third, take one thing at a time. Don't try to do too much at a time.
Yeah, I think that's my problem. I'm like, I have all this to do. Am I going to start this and this?
And if you prioritize, it'll make it a lot easier. Just like you said you're already doing, take time for you. Relax, sleep in, whatever you need to do. Go off with some friends, laugh, enjoy yourself. Take it from my advice, and I had 2 children that graduated. Enjoy this last week of school. Enjoy, try not to let it stress you, and enjoy it, because this is it, as far as high school. And is there anything else that you want to ask me about, or any other questions?
Not that I know of.
Okay. Okay, but Brooke, I have really enjoyed talking to you these 2 times. I got to counsel you, and I wish you the best, and I think you're going to be a wonderful college student, and you're a wonderful person.
Thank
and
you.
I appreciate it, Brooke. Thank you.